Winning Blueprint presents.
In the lab room, the market. Miami Dolphins.
Welcome to the market. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the market, the NFL's one-stop shop for all positions related to the field. Otherwise known as, and more commonly known as, free agency. Lot to get to, and I'm here to talk to you about the Miami Dolphins, a team that I think needs to be extremely aggressive in free agency. They have a young team, young quarterback, need to surround him with some talent. They need to make this team as a whole more talented. Felt like they did a lot with a little last season, and they need to address their roster. Here in front of me, I have a comprehensive list of every free agent available on the market. I'll be talking about a lot of them when talking about the Miami Dolphins. Also, I will be referring to my handy dandy big board that you see in front of you. I'm going to use this board to break down the Miami Dolphins into different sections, talk about their notable free agents that they have in-house that they either need to re-sign or let walk away. I'm going to talk about positions of need for the Dolphins. And then we're going to go into players that are available in the market for the Dolphins at those very positions that they need to address. So let's get right to business with the Miami Dolphins. I will be consulting my board at all times when discussing the Miami Dolphins. So looking at the Dolphins and their notable free agents, we start with Reggie Bush, move on to Anthony Fasano. Brian Hartline was just signed literally hours ago by the Dolphins. He signs a 5-year, $34 million contract, something around that general vicinity. And so the Dolphins have already done themselves some justice in this offseason by getting Brian Hartline back. We'll talk about that a little bit later, though. Jake Long, Matt Moore, Sean Smith, and Randy Starks, who you have franchised. So he is not on the market. He is not on this list. Just had to mention him and let you know that he has been franchised. And so we're going to go through these free agents one by one and look to see if you need to keep them or allow them to walk away. Reggie Bush. Here's a guy that I think you should keep, but you're not going to. It's already been determined that Reggie Bush is going to be allowed to test the free agent market. He's not going to be back. And the Dolphins haven't made a play or a push to get him back. He's gone. I thought that you should have kept him, but you guys like what you have in Lamar Miller. You like what you have in Daniel Thomas. And probably a little disappointed in Daniel Thomas to this point, but you feel like you're comfortable with what you have in your backfield. You're going to allow Reggie Bush to walk. Anthony Fasano, solid tight end. Very solid. Isn't going to wow you with his athleticism. Isn't going to, be overly productive, but he's solid. Do you want him back? Why not? Could you use an upgrade at the tight end position? Yes. And so don't be surprised if the Dolphins look to upgrade the tight end position. We already talked about Brian Hartline, but you re-signed him. I thought that was a huge move for the Dolphins. Very necessary. You've got your number 2 receiver. You still need a number 1. And I think the Dolphins are putting all the pieces together. Hartline is a number 2. Devon Bess is a number 3. You're just missing a number 1. You get that number 1 in place, look out. The Miami Dolphins could be stellar on offense. Jake Long. He's not going to be back. The Dolphins had every opportunity to re-sign him. They were displeased with his 2012 campaign. He was injured. Let's cut him a little bit of slack. He was banged up. He's been cleared by the doctors as being 100%. I think his play will elevate itself now that he's healthy. But I don't think you like what you've seen out of Jake Long the last couple of seasons. You think his skills are starting to diminish, and you're going to allow him to walk. You don't want to pay him the $10 million that he's talking about trying to command per season. And so I guess if you feel like you have guys that can take over, you have Jonathan Martin, who you drafted out of Stanford, and you're moving him from the right side to the left side, you're going to go out on the market and look for a right tackle now. And so you're going the cheaper route. I can't blame you for that. Matt Moore, solid backup quarterback, is as solid as it gets in the National Football League from a backup standpoint. If you can get him back, by all means, do not let him walk away. He was invaluable for you against the Jets when he had to come in, thrust into service early in that football game, helped you wallop the Jets on the road. Matt Moore is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league, and he's a free agent. If you can sign him back, you need to. Sean Smith is a guy that I think you should sign back. I think Dolphins fans are really hard on him, and that's how it is around the league. A lot of fans out there are hard on cornerbacks, more so than any other position in the league. They get beat, and all they see is the corner getting beat, and they're like, oh man, this guy's trash. We need to get rid of him. Other teams around the league are salivating for Sean Smith. I'm one of those teams. I'm a Redskins fan, and I think the Redskins would do themselves justice by going out and getting him. They don't have any money, though. They won't be able to afford him. You, however, have the money to afford Sean Smith. You should bring him back. However, I think you're going to allow him to test free agency. He's going to find someone that's going to pay him the money that he's looking for, and you're going to lose out on the guy that I think you should bring back. And yes, he has his inconsistent moments. He's young, but he's a very talented corner. You don't get 6'3" every day. You should bring him back. I don't think you will, though. And we talked about Randy Starks. You franchised him. He's not going anywhere. He'll be back with the Dolphins in the 2013 season. You need to reach a long-term deal with Randy Starks. So looking at your positions of need for the Miami Dolphins, wide receiver, cornerback, offensive tackle, and tight end and safety are your positions of need. You look at the wide receiver market, it's top heavy. After you get past the first 3 or 4 guys, if you're the Dolphins, you don't need a slot guy. You don't need a number 2. You need a number 1. And there's really only 2 receivers that fit the bill. You need to find a way to get your hands on one of these 2 receivers. And you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Mike Wallace, and I'm talking about Greg Jennings. Now, there are other receivers available, Wes Welker, Danny Amendola, but those are slot guys. Those aren't number 1s. You need a number 1. Your slot situation is already taken care of with Devon Betts. Your number 2 situation is already taken care of with Brian Hartline. You need a number 1. You need to get your hands on either Mike Wallace or Greg Jennings. Don't be afraid to pony up to make this happen. Quarterback. You have money, and you're going to have to replace Sean Smith. So you have every single resource at your disposal to go after one of these top cornerbacks in the market. So do that. If you're not going to re-sign Sean Smith, then you need to pony up and sign one of these other guys. Again, I'm one in the thinking of I'd much rather deal with the evil I know than the evil I don't. You know what Sean Smith is, and so you should be more comfortable with him. But if you want to go out and go get a guy that you think is better than Sean Smith, knock yourself out. Here are the guys that are available to you. Aqib Talib, Brent Grimes. We already talked about Sean Smith. He is your guy. If you don't want him, allow him to walk. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, Kerry Williams, and Derek Cox. Look, you need a cornerback. You need to replace Sean Smith if you're not going to re-sign him. Pick one of those guys, pay him a lot of money, get him into your locker room. Offensive tackle. You're moving Jonathan Martin over to the left tackle position from right tackle, so you need a right tackle. So you don't need to pony up the kind of money that a left tackle might command. You need to go looking in the right tackle market. And there are several right tackles up here. Look, if you want to spend a lot of money, Sebastian Boehmer or Eric Winston could be a guy that you could look to. If you want to spend a lot less money and still get production out of your right tackle, you could look for a guy like Gosher Sherrillis out of Detroit, Phil Lodholt out of Minnesota, or Jamon Bushrod from the Saints. These are all options that will be a lot less expensive than the first two I named in Sebastian Ballmer or Eric Winston, and are just as good in my estimation. But look, you need a right tackle. Go out and address that. You need to keep your young quarterback upright. Ryan Tannehill has a lot of potential. He does not need to be on his back. He cannot tap into that potential from his back. You need to address your tackle position and your offensive line. Make sure that he is able to be as protected as possible in the 2013 season and moving forward. You look at the tight end position. You're not going to bring Anthony Fasano back. At least I don't think you are. You need to upgrade that position. So Delanie Walker is a guy from the San Francisco 49ers that was a backup that is starving to start. He's a guy that can be productive. He's athletic, can catch the football. Don't be afraid to go looking at Delanie Walker and potentially bring him in the fold in Miami. Dustin Keller is another guy, highly productive. Now, he's not a blocking tight end. It's not going to really help you in that department. But if you're looking for a pass-catching tight end, he can be your man. Was not that productive in the 2012 season, had a lot of things going on. But if he's back to the Dustin Keller that we've come to know and can be very productive in the National Football League, as he's been throughout his career, this is a good, solid pickup if you're looking for a guy that can catch the football. Jared Cook, one of the most underrated and talented tight ends in the league in my estimation. He's a guy that's going to command a lot of attention on the free agent market. Don't know if he's going to want to go to a team that's trying to build something. Think he's looking for a more stable situation. Look, he's coming from Tennessee, a team that has not been able to win since he's come into the league. If he's willing to chase the dollars and not worry about whether a team is good or not already, you should make a play for Jared Cook. He's a very talented tight end that can help you in the passing game. Martellus Bennett, he's looking for a fresh start. He got it in New York last year, was highly productive. If he gets another fresh start, he could be a guy that finally taps into his true potential. You're going to need help at the tight end position. Again, don't be afraid to look at the price tag and see if it matches what you're trying to spend for a guy that could be productive in the league. Fred Davis is last on my list of tight ends that I think you should try and go after. He's the Redskins tight end that's coming off of major surgery, tore his Achilles. But again, he's been cleared to play. He's 100%. And if you're looking for a guy that can be highly productive, Fred Davis could be your man. Looking lastly at the safety position for the Dolphins, this is a need. Look, Rashad Jones is a stud, but you need someone across from him out there in your secondary. And these are all guys that could fill that void. Now look, some of these guys are probably going to be off limits to you. Not because of the price tag, because you can afford every single one of them, but because of the situation that they may be looking for. When you come from a team that has been winning, you don't want to go to a team that's rebuilding. That's a move backwards. You're going to end up getting a safety that's either making a lateral move or is chasing money. Now, the first two safeties that I'm going to name aren't doing either. They're looking to play for a winner, a contender, and they're looking to get paid all the while doing so. You don't fit that criteria, but I'm going to name them anyway. Because, look, again, money talks, everything else walks. So, Deshaun Golson, we know what he's about. We know he's going to be one of the most sought-after safeties in the free agent market. Look, he's going to want to go to a team that's contending, a team that probably made the postseason last year. He's going to look to be the piece that helps them get over the top. Don't know if Miami is going to be an ideal fit for him. But again, you throw enough money at him, if those dollars make sense, he might reconsider. Ed Reed, another guy, veteran. He's not looking to go and play for a team that's not winning. He wants to play for a winner. He's up there in age. If you're not winning, it doesn't make sense to him. But again, he's out there. Just thought I'd mention it. William Moore is an interesting proposition. Again, I think it's going to take a lot to pry him away from Atlanta. But he is on the market currently. If the Falcons don't reach a deal before free agency starts, this is a guy that you should go and check out. He's a very talented safety that can help you upgrade your position. LaRon Landry. Look, you saw this guy twice last year. You know what he's about. You know what he can bring to the table. When healthy, he's one of the best safeties in the National Football League. I don't have to tell you. You saw it yourself firsthand. Look, the Jets got him for a bargain basement deal last year. That won't be the case this season. He'll be looking to compensate for the money that he didn't make last year. But he's well worth it when he's healthy. Look to LaRon Landry, if at all possible, to help upgrade your safety position. Charles Woodson, again, another safety that's up there in age. He's a veteran that can help, but he's going to be looking to play for a contender. If I'm the Dolphins, I don't want to go barking up that tree anyway. I think his best days are behind him. You're looking for someone younger anyhow, someone that has a lot to offer who won't cost as much. I just named him anyway because he's a free agent safety that could help, but I don't think the Dolphins will be looking in that direction. Glover Quinn, young safety out of Houston. He can help. He's not going to cost you as much as some of these other safeties that I named. He's a guy that's highly productive, can help you at the safety position. Look, do your due diligence. See if this guy is someone that can help you. And if not, if the price tag doesn't fit, you move on. Kenny Phillips. Here's a guy that's highly productive when healthy out of New York for the Giants. He doesn't stay healthy often, but when he does, he's productive. Again, see what the price tag says. If he's a pink tag guy, someone that you can get on that bargain rack, by all means, address it. But he already turned down a deal from the Giants, which lets you know he thinks more of his worth than many teams might be willing to pay. We don't know what the price tag is that he's asking for, but if it's in your wheelhouse, why not take a chance? Patrick Chung is a guy that won't cost you nearly as much as all the guys that I just named. He's a pink tag guy, someone that you can get on the cheap and still have production out of. Now look, he played for the Patriots. You've seen Patrick Chung up and personal. You know what he brings to the table. Is this a guy that can help you upgrade your safety position? I don't know. All I know is that he's a guy that's not going to cost you a lot, and he's a guy that can be a viable safety in the National Football League. Again, do your homework. If he can help you, why not take a flyer out? If not, move on. And that, in a nutshell, is the Miami Dolphins and their status in the market. Don't be afraid to spend money. I don't think Stephen Ross and company are afraid to spend money. And look, you need to. You got a young team. There's not a lot of talent on your roster. Time for you to change that through the draft, through free agency. Spend money, upgrade this roster, get a number one receiver. If nothing else, if you do nothing else in free agency, get a number one receiver. Don't miss out like you did on Vincent Jackson. Don't miss out like you did on Jim Harbaugh. Don't miss the boat this time. Get your man. I don't know if it's Mike Wallace. I don't know if it's Greg Jennings. Either way, get one of them. And that's going to do it for the Dolphins in the market.
Miami Dolphins, the market.